live tuition. I hope everyone is ready over there, pumped up over there for the session of 90 plus My Tuition app. I am Manoj Kumar MN, your physics educator. So everyone stay active and ready over there for the session. Let me know if you have any concerns. In between the sessions, if you have any queries, do drop it down in the chat box or let me know, or you can raise your hands and let me know so that I'll clear your queries. So before starting the session, I want everyone to keep your camera in such a way that we can see your face properly and we can see that you're writing. So everyone keep a pen and highlighter with you. Keep a pen and highlighter ready with you. Have a dedicated notebook. I used to tell this every time in all the sessions. You should not write all the subjects in one single book. Not appreciated. Everyone should maintain a dedicated notebook for each subject. Keep a physics notebook, biology notebook, chemistry notebook, mathematics notebook, all the subjects. Keep a dedicated notebook so that you can revise the points properly when you're trying to learn something, when you're trying to revise something. It will be very beneficial for you. So I can see your faces. Students are joining. So Eric is getting ready. Eric, are you pumped up for the session? Stay active over there. Ricky is like, yes sir, I'm listening. Rishikesh is there. Who else is there? Tanya is there. Our students are there. Very good. Parvati, can you wipe your camera? Your camera is blurred. It's blurred a little bit. Everyone's be active and ready over there. Let's start the session. So what do you have to do? Before we go, what do you have to do? Everyone do revise the points which we learned in the previous session. To try to revise the points, try to revise all the things which we learned till now. I'm going to ask you questions. Everyone should be ready over there to answer my questions. Who is new in my session today? Who just joined today? You can raise your hands. Let me know.
Parvati.
Parvati just joined today. It's my first physics session. No? Parvati is like, no sir.
No,
I was there in the
I raised my hand because there's a small problem with it. So that's why the camera is blurred.
Okay, fine. That's fine. So from the next session, keep it ready, Parvati.
Okay, sir.
Fine then. Who else is there? Anurin. Nurin. Hi Nurin. How should I pronounce your name?
Nurin.
It's Nurin. Fine then. So this is your first session, right? First physics session. So are you pumped up to learn with 90 plus My Tuition app? Ready over there?
Yes.
How was your day? What is the special thing happened today? What is the best thing happened today? So Nurin is like, nothing special happened. I just had some good food. Isn't it? Nurin. So fine then. Nurin is like, yeah, nothing special. Who else is there? New over there today? In my session, who else is new today? Okay, fine then. So Vinayak is there. Vinayak with a new haircut and all. Vinayak, I can't see your face properly. Can you sit in a place where we can see your face properly? The background lighting is not proper, I guess. Fine then. So Eric, unmute yourself. Eric is like, I knew this. You're gonna ask me the questions. I knew this. I was so prepared for it. Come with the question. I'm ready to face it. Isn't it, Eric?
Yes, sir.
Pumped up for the questions? Shoot the
Yes,
questions. I'm ready to answer it. Isn't it? That should be the mentality. Everyone should be prepared with all the points which we try to teach you. So all the things you learn, you should be ready with it in the next session. So in the previous session, what all I have taught, you should be ready with it when you join this session. So Eric, what is loudness of sound? What is loudness?
So loudness of sound is the
Is they? Come on. Come again.
loudness of the sound depends on the amplitude. So
So when the amplitude is high, loudness will be high or low?
increases.
Loudness increases. So when the amplitude is high, loudness also will be high. It will be high value. Then what if the amplitude is low? What will happen?
The voice will be low as well. The loudness of the sound will be low.
Loudness will be low. Don't say voice will be low. Voice will also depend on the frequency. So based on frequency, we have one more term which we are gonna learn. That is pitch. So we will learn about pitch. Don't worry about it. So we were discussing about loudness till now, and I told you to take notes of this. That is, when the amplitude of vibration is large, the sound produced is loud. When the amplitude is small, the sound produced is feeble. Feeble means low tone, low voice, low amount of sound, isn't it? So I hope everyone had noted this down already who were there in the previous session. Yes, fine then. So if you have missed any session, don't worry about it. You have an option to check out the videos given there in our app. So when you get the subscription, you will have our pre-recorded videos in the app. Then also you can request the recorded link of the sessions which you missed. You have an option as well. You can contact our admin team. Fine then, ready? Let's start off this. Let's start off today's session. So loudness of sound from various sources. We have discussed about loudness. Okay, fine. Let's check out the points about loudness. So why loud sound? It depends on amplitude. I have shown you with the wave, sound wave and all. So based on the amplitude, the loudness varies. So the loudness of sound is proportional to the square of the amplitude of producing the sound. Everyone has already noted this down. I'm just recalling. So I'm just revising the points. So the loudness is expressed in a unit called as decibel. So the unit is called as decibel. It is denoted as dB. So you should note it down. When you write dB, D should be small letter and B should be capital letter. It is mandatory. Don't write dB like, okay fine, anyways it is dB. I can write it like this, capital D and small b, dB. Can you write it like this? No. You should write small d and capital B. This is how you should represent dB. Clear? Clear with it? Let's go ahead. Fine then, let's go ahead. So we have discussed about loudness. So loudness of sound from various sources. Loudness will vary, right? So let's check out some examples where the value of dB, that is the loudness, the amount of loudness produced by different sources. So how much it will be the value of the decibel value or the loudness value, we'll check it out. So normal breathing. Everyone, close your eyes, everyone. Close your eyes, let me see. Close your eyes, look at the camera, fine then. So Vinayak is like, if I close my eyes, how will I look? Everyone close your eyes, don't open now. Fine then. Now, take a deep breath, hold it for 3 seconds and release. And focus on your breath and try to listen to the sound of your breath. Can you hear the sound of your breathing, that breathing sound? Can you hear the sound of your breath? Take a deep breath. Hold it for 3 seconds and release it slowly. Now everyone, open your eyes. So were you able to hear the sound of breathing sound? Were you able to hear your breath, the sound of your breath? Fine then. So everyone is nodding yes sir. So there is a little bit amount of sound is there, right? So this loudness of sound from various sources. So based on the loudness of the normal breathing, we have an average value that is 10 dB. So do you think this 10 dB will be same for everyone? It depends. It depends on people. This is just an average value. So the loudness of normal breathing is 10 dB. All these points are just some additional information. If you want, you can note it down. Fine then. So normal breathing, the value is 10 dB. Just it's an additional information. You are learning something better. You are learning something extra. So do note it down. Don't miss it out. So normal breathing, the value is 10 dB. Soft whisper. Yes. Tell me, Vinayak. What is happening? Yes, Eric. Tell me. So we used to whisper, right? So in maybe in the classes or in school, you should be whispering to your colleague or friend or whatever. You'll be like, yes. What is the teacher explaining? Please let me know. What was the homework? So you used to whisper, right? Isn't it? So at 5 meter, it is mentioned specifically if it's just 5 meter, just small amount of sound will be produced. So in soft whisper, the normal soft whisper, hi support tutor, hi host, will be like this, right? Hi Eric, hi Rishikesh, isn't it? So this whisper sound, soft whisper, the loudness of soft whisper at 5 meter distance. Imagine it's a very short distance, just 5 meter. So the soft whisper value, the sound of this soft whisper, the loudness of this soft whisper is 30 dB. Do note it down if you want. Then next, normal conversation, it is 60 dB. So we are communicating. I was talking to whom? I was talking to Rishikesh, I was talking to Parvati, I was talking to Eric. So we were having a conversation, right? So in the normal conversation, generally the average value or the average amount of sound or the average loudness of normal conversation is 60 dB. Do note it down, do note it down. Have an awareness. Just keep it in your mind. If you're having a normal conversation, the loudness of sound produced will be 60 dB. So normal breathing, soft whisper, normal conversation, all these things done. Next we have busy traffic. In busy traffic, a lot of vehicles and all will be going, honking sounds and all, sound of horns, honking sound of vehicle, cars, buses, everything will be there, right? So in a busy traffic, the loudness of sound will be 70 dB. So don't think 70 dB, will it be a perfect accurate value? No, this is just an average value. So in an average factory, what is an average factory? So it is like an average amount of sound, the loudness of sound produced in a factory. So in an average factory means generally like how much will be the average amount of sound, how much will be the average loudness of sound in a factory? It will be 80 dB. It will be 80 dB. Do note this down as well. Normal breathing 10 dB, soft whisper 30 dB, normal conversation 60 dB, busy traffic 70 dB, average factory 80 dB. Once you're done writing, let me know. Once you're done writing, let me know. Fine. Give me a thumbs up if you're done writing. Fine. Everyone is done, right? Cool, then let's go ahead. So next we were about to discuss pitch. Pitch. What do you know about pitch? So over here we have a drum and we have a whistle. Have you heard the sound of a whistle? Yes, right? Everyone might have heard it. Fine then. So have you heard the sound of a drum? Drum sound. Side drums. Do you have, how many of you have band troops in your school? Band troop. Heard of this sound with drums and all? So Sanchita. Were there in the band troop in your school, or do you have a band troop in your school? You have in your school. You have a band troop.
Yes, sir.
Fine then. So you are a part of it, or you just have there in your school? Practice drums. Very good. So do you know slow march? Any?
No, I only know the.
You know the notes?
Yeah.
Very good. So Western or Indian classical, which in which note you used to practice?
Western.
Western notes. Which one? B, C, D, E, F, Sarigama. Symbols. Use symbols.
So I'm still practicing those.
Great. Fine then. Fine then. So if you were in the band troupe, you might have heard the slow march and all. To be honest, I was there. I was there in the band troupe. That's why I asked. But I didn't learn through the Western notes. I just learned it through the Indian classical notes. I was just using Sadhama and all. Sarigama Padanisa. So in slow march, it used to be like Sadhama, Sadhama, Sadhama ga, Nippaga, Nippaga, Nippaga ma. So Eric is like, sir, please stop. I don't want to hear your song. So I was just giving you notes. It's like this was the normal notes. This was the music of the slow march. So I was there. So I just told you might have heard this drum sound, right? What is the significance when you compare a drum and whistle? What is the significance of it? What is the significance? Parvati is like, yes sir, I heard this slow march notes and all. I learned about that. That's not our point. Should focus over here. So over here we have a whistle and a drum. So what is the difference between the sound? So in the case of a whistle, the distance which the sound of this whistle travels will be greater compared to that of drums. Isn't it? Isn't it? Drum will have a lot of sound, but the sound of this drum won't reach that long compared to a whistle. So in the case of a whistle, it has a higher frequency value. The sound of a whistle will travel longer distance when compared to the sound of drums. Got it? Clear? So there comes the importance or the significance of pitch. Let's check out the points about pitch. Now you will have a better understanding. The frequency determines the shrillness or pitch of a sound. Shrillness or pitch. So who determines this? Frequency. I hope everyone knows what is frequency. We have discussed it already. The number of vibrations per second is frequency. So the frequency determines the shrillness or pitch of a sound. So if the frequency is high, this pitch or shrillness of a sound will be high. So keep this in mind, very important. Do note it down. The first point, the frequency determines the shrillness or pitch of a sound. Have a good understanding about loudness and pitch, okay? So we have learned about, so suppose this is a sound wave. So based on the amplitude, we have learned that the loudness will be high. But when it comes to pitch, the number of vibrations, suppose this one cycle, this particular thing is one cycle, like that there will be more than one cycles, there will be more number of vibrations. Imagine. So the frequency will be high, right? So if more number of vibrations are happening per second, what will happen? The pitch will be high, isn't it? So the distance traveled by it will be greater, isn't it? So that is the connection between loudness and pitch. So loudness depends on amplitude and pitch depends on frequency. Keep this in mind, very, very important, very important. So the frequency determines the shrillness or pitch of a sound. Shrillness or pitch, it is the same. So amplitude depends on the loudness. So amplitude determines the loudness and frequency determines the pitch. So do note this down as well. Next point, if the frequency of vibration is higher, we say that the sound is shrill. You can take the example of a whistle. If the frequency of vibration is higher, we say that the sound is shrill. So we'll have an example. We have the sound of a bird and a lion. We'll check out the examples. to have a better understanding of pitch and loudness. So second point, note it down. So third point, if the frequency of vibration is lower, we say that the sound has a lower pitch. If the frequency is lower, if it doesn't have a good amount of frequency, the sound has a lower pitch. If the frequency is higher, we say that the sound is shrill or it has a higher pitch. So these 3 points are very, very important. Do note it down. Do note it down. Don't just note it down. Okay, fine, I have written all the points. You should have a better understanding of it as well. I will give you an example as well. Don't worry. I hope everyone has turned on the camera, I guess. Fine then. We have an admin team who monitors everyone. They'll be watching you guys are focusing on the session or not. They'll be informing your parents this particular student was not focusing on the session. So in the session, if you're not active over there, our admin team will be communicating with your parents. Be ready to face it. So stay active and attentive in the session. So we have a host team, we have a support tutor. So everyone's eyes is on you. So what do you have to do? Do you have a big task? You should stay attentive and try to understand the concepts. That is the only duty you have. So it's not something we are doing a job. No, it's for yourself. You're learning for yourself. You'll be improving. So gaining knowledge is a great thing, right? So we have learned the values the loudness values of normal breathing and all. You won't have a direct question for exams about these values, but still you gained some extra information, isn't it? Fine then, completed this, noted down the points, give me a thumbs up. Let's go ahead. Fine then. So I told you we'll be discussing the example of a lion and a bird. So please play the first animation. Please play the sound of a bird as well. Let's check it out. Let's check out the sound of a bird. Fine then. So please pause it. If everyone were able to hear the sound of the bird, give me a thumbs up. Just show it to the camera. Yes, sir, we were able to hear. Fine then. Very good. So you heard the sound of a bird, right? How do you feel? Did the sound strike into your ears? Did it strike into your ears? Isn't it? It was a striking sound, right? Which means that the sound has a potential to travel to longer distances. Which means it has a greater frequency. If the sound has a greater frequency, does it have a higher value of loudness or pitch? Who is going to answer? If the frequency is higher, it will have a greater value of loudness or pitch. Eric.
So it will have a greater value of pitch.
So Rick says it will have a greater value of pitch. Now let's ask Noreen. Will it have a greater value of pitch or loudness, Noreen? What do you think?
Greater value of pitch.
Great. Perfect. So you guys were right. It will have a greater value of pitch since the frequency was high. It was a striking sound, right? Now, let's check out an example of a roaring lion. Be prepared, okay? Don't run from there. You see the lion, isn't it? Fine then. So please play. So lion is there. Hi. So Vinayak is Sir, enough, sir. Enough, sir. Sir, please stop it, sir. Please stop it, sir. Fine then. So everyone is laughing. Vinayak is like, sir, please don't run from the session. Please teach us something. Don't get scared. So Sanchita is like, yeah, Sanchita, what's your query?
Sorry, sir, I didn't mean to raise your hand.
Sanchita raised her hand when she saw the lion. So Sanchita is like, please leave me alone. Don't do this to me. Everyone were able to hear the sound of the roaring lion, right? Isn't it? So, were the sound that striking like a bird? No, right? But still, the loudness was high. The loudness was high, isn't it? But the frequency was low compared to that of a bird. So the sound of a roaring lion also has a greater frequency, but compared to the sound of a bird, the frequency was low, but the amplitude of the sound was high, isn't it? So it was not traveling, so the sound didn't go that far. If you check in practically, don't go to the forest and all. Let me check. I have to learn about loudness and pitch. Let me talk to a lion. Don't try that. Don't try this at home. So enough learning, isn't it? So fine then. So my point is, when the amplitude is high, the loudness will also be high. So this was an example of loudness, isn't it? So the sound of a roaring lion had a greater amplitude value, had a greater loudness value, but the pitch was low compared to the chirping of birds, isn't it? Clear? Clear with the concept? Concept clear? Perfect. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. If you have any queries, do let me know. Raise your hands. Syed, Rishikesh. Please unmute Rishikesh. Let me ask. Rishikesh is like, I didn't hear the sound properly. Or do you have any queries, Rishikesh?
If lion was roaring, was scared.
Oh, Rishikesh was scared. Rishikesh was like, sorry sir, I was scared. Isn't it?
Scared.
So you were clear about the concept of loudness and pitch?
Yeah.
Fine, that's all I want. You can mute yourself. Fine then, let's go ahead. So can we hear all the sounds? Can we hear all sounds? What do you think? Can we hear all the sounds? Is there any particular sounds which we can't hear? What do you think? Is there any sounds which we can't hear? Can we hear all the sounds? If we can hear all the sounds, nod your head like this. If we can't hear all the sounds, nod your head like this. Let me see your responses. Fine then. So everyone is nodding. We can't hear all the sounds. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. So basically, sounds are classified into two: audible sounds and inaudible sounds. So basically, two types of sounds are there: audible sounds and inaudible sounds. Sound which we can hear are called audible sounds. Sound which we cannot hear is inaudible sounds. So the sound which we can hear is audible. Sound which we cannot hear is inaudible. So this is given in simple terms. You can map all these things like a chart, like a flow chart in your mind itself. That's why I wrote the points like this. Register this particular thing in your mind. Don't just by heart. Try to understand the concept. Okay, sound is there. Fine, then two types are there basically: inaudible sounds and audible sounds. Audible sounds are sounds which we can hear. Inaudible sounds are sounds which we cannot hear. No doubt in that. So we'll be discussing the values as well. Audible sounds and inaudible sounds. Fine then. Note this. Keep ready with this flow chart, okay? You should visualize this in your mind when I ask you about audible sounds, inaudible sounds. Fine then. Let's go ahead. So please play the next animation. Let's check out an animation. Sir, so please pause it. Let's note down the points about audible sounds and inaudible sounds. I was about to give you an example. Before that, please note this down, then we'll check out the animation. Sounds with frequency from 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz are audible sounds. Sounds with frequency less than 20 Hz or more than 20,000 Hz are inaudible sounds. So what is this based about? About a human ear. In the case of a human ear, the sounds with frequency from 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. So in your textbook, it might be given as 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz or 20 Hz or more than 20 kilohertz. So don't get confused about it. Just have an understanding. 1000 Hz is 1 kilohertz. 1000 Hz is 1 kilohertz. Have an understanding. If it's given as 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz in your textbook, don't get confused. 20 kilohertz means 20,000 Hz. I hope everyone knows that Hertz is the unit of frequency. Hertz is the SI unit of frequency. Rishikesh was like, I was aware of it. I knew this, isn't it? So do note it down. Audible sound, sounds with frequency from 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz are audible sounds. Sounds with frequency less than 20 Hz or more than 20,000 Hz are inaudible sounds. Fine then. Ready? Do note this down as well. 1000 Hz is equal to 1 kilohertz. 1000 Hz is equal to 1 kilohertz. 1000 Hz is equal to 1 kilohertz. Be ready with it. Done? Everyone done? Great then. Let's go ahead. So let's discuss about noise and music. What do you know about noise and music? What do you know about noise and music? So what is noise? Why did we specifically mention music? We have a lot of sounds apart from noise, right? Isn't it? So I just mentioned noise and music just because generally we find music as a pleasant sound, right? Isn't it? So when it comes to noise, the unpleasant sounds or the sounds which we are not happy to hear, the irritating sounds and all, isn't it? So we'll check out the examples, don't worry about it. So please play the next animation. Let's check out the animation. So now, so you can see two girls standing over there. So they're playing. So please pause it. So they are playing some music, right? So Rishikesh was like, they had a flute and violin. How did they play the music of piano? Isn't it? Rishikesh, is that your query? Rishikesh like, how did you know that? Fine then. So I just meant to say that. The sound of music. That's why I gave the example of violin and flute. Girls were playing some sounds. That was the concept. Got it, Rishikesh? So you heard the music, right? So the girls were playing some music. So the sound was pleasant. We were happy to hear that. I saw your smiling faces. Isn't it? So everyone was happy to hear that. Nice music, sir. We enjoyed it. Fine then. So please play the next animation. Let's check out the sound of a musical instrument now. Now Rishikesh will be happy. Let's check out the sound of a musical instrument. Plug in your earphones. Fine then. Rishikesh, were you able to hear the sound of sitar? Please unmute yourself.
Yes.
So was it the sound of a sitar itself, or did you hear the sound of a tabla or something else, saxophone or something else?
All here sound.
Okay, you heard the sound of a sitar itself. Fine then. So
Yeah.
now Rishikesh is happy. So the sound was pleasant, right? It was good. So you heard the sound of a musical instrument. So it was pleasant. It was a good sound. So that's why I gave the example of music. When it comes to pleasant sounds, you can take the example of music. Or else you can take the example of the teacher. The teacher's voice is very nice. The sound of our teacher is very good. I'm so happy to hear the sound of our teacher. So Rishikesh is like, stop boasting yourself. Let's go ahead with the session. Isn't it, Rishikesh? Fine then, let's go ahead. So, sir, please play the next animation. Let's check out an example of noise. What's gonna happen? Let's check it out. Fine then. Plug in your earphones. Can't hear. So Vinayak is showing can't hear. When you are able to hear, show me a thumbs up. Really can't hear. So please check out the sound of it. Please play it again. Let's check out. Okay, now Rishikesh is showing thumbs up. Fine then, sir, please pause it. Let's ask to Eric. Eric was like, sound was breaking in between.
Yeah, sometimes the sound comes and sometimes the sound goes.
So how was the sound? The sound was pleasant or unpleasant? How did you feel? You wish to hear such sounds?
No,
You wish to hear such sounds? The drilling sounds and all? Not unpleasant for you?
it's unpleasant.
It's unpleasant. So Eric is like, the sound was unpleasant. I didn't like the sound. Then Vinayak, let's ask Vinayak. Vinayak is like, I didn't even hear the sound. Isn't it, Vinayak? You were not able to hear?
No, sir, I could hear.
Second time, you were able to hear. Fine then. So anyways, you heard some sound, right? So what was happening? The sound was the sound of a drilling machine. The construction work was happening. So the drilling of the ground is happening, isn't it? So you heard some sound. So it was unpleasant, right? Suppose if you are doing some meditation, or if you are trying to learn something, if you are trying to focus on something, if you have this sound beside you, will it be good for you? Will you enjoy? You won't, right? So these are the examples of noise. So the sounds which we enjoy are called pleasant sounds, or the sounds which we do not enjoy, or the sounds which irritates us, that such unpleasant sounds are called noise. So in simple terms, we can say that unpleasant sounds are called noise. So musical sound is one which is pleasing to the ear. It was good. So the unpleasant sounds are called noise. This is very important. Do note it down. In simple terms, what is noise? If someone asks you what is noise, in simple terms, you can say that the unpleasant sounds are called noise. Do note it down. Very important. We are going to learn what are the after effects or the consequences of such noise. So a lot of noisy sounds and all will be there in your surroundings. You will get a lot of examples. So we'll be checking out what are all the consequences of these unpleasant sounds or noise. We'll be checking it out. Please unmute Abigail. Everyone do note it down. Unpleasant sounds are called noise. Just one single sentence. So find that. Abigail, Grace, Aaron.
Yes, sir.
Where were you?
Sir, I couldn't join the meeting.
You had a problem with the link, or you had some other session?
I had a problem with the link.
Fine, then to contact our admin team if you have a problem with the link, or if you have any other session coming in between. You should figure you should stay in touch with our admin team. Fine then, clear? Fine then. So try to watch our recorded sessions, Abigail. If you miss some points,
Okay, sir.
great. You can mute yourself. Let's go ahead. So please play the next animation. Let's check out an animation of an example of noisy sound. What is this? No, we heard an example, the sound of the drilling machine. I'm gonna give you the best example. So please play the animation. They can't hear. So please check the sound of it. When I play the animation, you should tell me. When the kids are moving, you should tell me. If you can hear, just show me a thumbs up. If you are not able to hear, just okay, fine. Fine. Sanchita.
Yes, sir.
What happened? You were able to hear in the beginning and in between you lost the connection. What happened?
Yes, sir.
What's your query?
I couldn't hear and then it keep on coming and
Fine then. So what you were able to hear? What did you hear?
kids making sound in the classroom.
Kids were making sound in the classroom. So do you used to make unwanted sounds or conversations in the session, between the class? Let me know.
Yes.
Okay, Sanchita is like, I used to talk in between the session. I used to talk to my friends.
This my brother keep on coming in the class. I mean in here. So
Okay, got it. So, everyone, raise your hands if you got some scolding from your teacher since you made some noise in the classroom. Have you ever heard, students, don't make noise? Have you ever heard this? Eric is like, don't stand up over there. Eric is like, yeah, sir. I made a lot of noise in the classroom.
Sania, come on. Sania and Bigil, Nurain, Said. Okay.
Yeah.
Very well, sir.
Yeah, our support tutor is asking everyone. So, do raise your hands. Not the symbol, not the emoji. Raise your hands like this if you made some sound in your classroom. So fine then. So everyone is so active. We made unwanted sound and unpleasant sound in between the session. So everyone is happy doing that? Not appreciated. Now you can lower your hands. Not appreciated. I'm not happy with it. Isn't it? So Vinayak is like, unwantedly I just raised my hands. Vinayak is laughing. So fine then. So you might have heard, right? Your teacher might have told you, students, don't make noise, stay quiet, stay silent.
Statue.
And okay, everyone is staying statue. Everyone, statue on the camera. Stay silent. Everyone is still. Very good. Now you can come back.
Yes, hi Rishik.
Rishikesh is moving. Now you can move. Rishikesh, what are you doing? Why you were moving? I told statue in between. Everyone was still in the camera. What happened, Rishikesh? Now Rishikesh is like, Rishikesh, the game is over. Don't stay statue over there right now. So fine then. So my point was, so this is an example of unpleasant sound. For example, if one of you wants to talk something in between the session, in between the classroom, so please keep the animation. So in between the session, if you're talking, suppose in between the session or in between the in your classroom hours or in your school hours, if you're talking to your friend, so you can talk it in a soft whisper. That is fine. If one student is talking, it won't disturb the class. Now imagine in your class if you have 40 to 50 students. So imagine if everyone is talking together. Yesterday I had chicken biryani. So yesterday in my house a lot of friends came in my hometown. So we played football, we played cricket. So imagine if the class hours are going on and everyone is speaking to your friends, colleagues and all. What do you think? What will happen? It will produce an unpleasant sound in the classroom, right? Is it good? So think from the teacher's side. So the teacher will be trying to teach you something. Teachers will be trying to give you some knowledge. So in between that, if you're making the noise, if you're making unwanted sounds in the classroom, it's not at all good. So in your point of view, you were like, I just had a small conversation. I just conveyed some one or two sentences. What's wrong in that? But if everyone is talking at the same time, it will make an unpleasant sound in the classroom. So that will be a noise. So this is an example of noise. Got it? Clear with it? Fine then. So please remove the animation. We're clear with it, right? Got the concept? So we discussed about noise. We had the example of it as well. So we have discussed about noise. We have seen the examples as well. So now let's discuss about the consequences of noise pollution. The consequences of noise, which will result in noise pollution. You might have heard water pollution, air pollution and all, isn't it? Soil pollution. So all these things you might have learned in social studies and all, isn't it? So what is this noise pollution? Noise pollution is basically when you make unpleasant sounds, or when there are a lot of unpleasant sounds or noise happening in a particular area, it will result in noise pollution. So what causes noise pollution? A lot of unpleasant sounds, a lot of noise. All this results in noise pollution. Got it? So there are a lot of harmful effects of noise pollution. Suppose if you are staying in a peaceful area, or if you want to do something peacefully, if you are hearing some unpleasant sounds, it will disturb you, right? So not just this normal disturbances, it has some harmful effects for our physiology as well. We'll learn about it, don't worry about it. Fine then, let's check about the noise pollution. The presence of excessive or unwanted sounds in the environment is called noise pollution. In simple terms, the definition of noise pollution: the presence of excessive or unwanted sounds in the environment is called noise pollution. To note it down, very, very important. Presence of excessive or unwanted sounds in the environment is called noise pollution. So do highlight this: excessive or unwanted sounds. Excessive or unwanted sounds. Do highlight this. This is very important. Noise pollution, you will have a direct question for your exams. So if someone asks what is noise pollution, in simple terms you can say presence of excessive or unwanted sounds in the environment is called noise pollution. Clear with the concept? Clear about noise pollution? We'll check out some examples of it as well. Let's check out the examples of it as well. So done writing. If you're done writing, show me a thumbs up. Let me know that you are done writing. Now, write the examples of it. We'll check out the animations of it as well. Now, write down the examples. So the examples of noise pollution: the sounds of vehicles, not just the sound of one single vehicle. Imagine a lot of vehicles are there in a traffic signal. There are a lot of vehicles coming up. So the sounds of vehicles, the explosion including bursting of crackers, machines and loudspeakers. Let's check out the animations of it as well. So please be ready with the animation. Let's check out the animations of it. let's have a real-time experience of the examples of noise pollution. To note it down first, let's check out the examples. Sounds of vehicles, including bursting of crackers, machines, loudspeakers. All these are unwanted sounds. If you're done writing, the common ritual, society is like, with an action and all, Vinayak is like, yes sir, pumped up. I can see the energy over there. Everyone is ready to learn in an interesting and a versatile way with 90 plus My Tuition app. So you're not learning with a forced, or did your parents push it to this? No, right? You're learning out of your interest. So you're learning the concepts in an interesting way. Be ready for it, guys. If you have any queries, do let me know. Raise your hands or drop it down in the chat box. We have a host team, we have an admin team, we have a support tutor as well. Fine then, let's check out the examples. Everyone has done writing, I guess. So the sound of vehicles, you know it, right? So everyone might have heard it. The traffic in a traffic signal, the sound of vehicles will be there. So everyone know it. Let's check out. So please play the first animation, next animation. Let's check out an animation. Fine, sir. Fine, sir. Enough. So everyone was not ready to stop it. So Rishikesh and Sanchita, Vinayak, Eric, everyone was like, yes sir, please don't stop it. The sound of the fireworks were good. I enjoyed it. Isn't it? But imagine if people are sleeping overnight at 12 and 1, when people are sleeping, if I'm burning some crackers, if fireworks are there nearby, would you enjoy? No, right? You'll be disturbed with the sound, isn't it? Right now everyone's face was like, yes sir, the sound of the fireworks was so good, we enjoyed the animation, we enjoyed the sound. No, that was not our intention. So we were trying to learn about noise pollution, right? So if it's in a residential area, if overnight when everyone is sleeping, if you are burning all these firecrackers and all, the sound of this, will it be a pleasant sound? No, right? It will be unpleasant. So who is that? Sanya. Sanya is like, no, it's not unpleasant. I enjoy the sound. Hi Sanya.
Yes, sir.
So you are okay with it even if you are sleeping? I can firecracker near your ear?
No, sir.
No, fine then. So when I said the sound of firecrackers is an unpleasant sound. So when I said that, Sanya was like, no. What happened? So you enjoy the sound of firecrackers?
Sir, I enjoy, but not while I'm sleeping.
Okay, great. So Sanya is like, sir, I enjoy it, but not while I'm sleeping. Don't disturb me while I'm sleeping. Fine then. Fine then. So you heard the sound of the fireworks, isn't it? So that was an example of noise pollution. If a lot of the sound of fireworks and all is an example. So Sanchita and Rishikesh, do you have any queries? I can see that you guys have raised your hands over there. Yes, Rishikesh.
Firecrackers was very burnt.
So the sound of firecrackers was very nice. So Rishikesh enjoyed it. So Rishikesh is like, there was not a noise pollution for me, isn't it? So Sanchita.
So, like you showed an example for firecrackers, but what if it's a natural thing like a thunderstorm? It makes some unpleasant sound, which also kind of disturbs us while we're sleeping. Isn't that also causes noise pollution?
Yes. So we are taking some real life examples. So the natural phenomena like thunderstorms are also the examples of noise pollution. But such natural phenomena we can't control, right? Isn't it? So let me tell you why I showed all these examples. So these are some examples which we can control. We can do some measures to control it, isn't it? So natural phenomena, so can we control? Can we say thunderstorm? Will you please stop it over there? We can do that, right? So that's why I didn't show that examples, but you made the right point. That was a right example. So all those are also the unpleasant sound, isn't it? But all those sounds which we can't control, right? So that's why I gave you these examples. Firecrackers. Imagine in an area, if I have my birthday party. Imagine if I am celebrating with firecrackers and all. If my neighbors are sleeping over there, will they enjoy it? No, right? So it'll be good for me. I'll be enjoying the firecrackers. Yeah, nice, very good. But the neighbors and all, if they're sleeping, they won't enjoy, right? So that was my point. So that's why I gave you this example. So all these things which you can think about it. If people are sleeping, we should not do this. This will be a noise pollution and all, isn't it? So as to give you an awareness, I just gave you such examples. Let's check out the next example. So please play the next animation. Let's check out some examples of noise pollution. So please play it. Fine then, sorry enough. So were you able to hear the sound? You heard, right? So did you enjoy the sound? If you enjoyed the sound like this, if you didn't enjoy, no. So the sound was disturbing. The sounds of the machines and all, these are also examples of noise pollution. So all these sounds will cause noise pollution. Let's check out one more example. Let's check out the example of a loudspeaker. So please show the loudspeaker. Plug in your earphones. Let's check out. Sir, enough, sir. Please stop it. It's so irritating, isn't it? So were you able to hear? So it was like, you didn't hear that? Vinayak didn't hear. So what you heard? So please play it one more, or wait a second, let's ask Vinayak.
Yeah, I could not hear.
You didn't hear anything. Did you hear a beep sound? Beep sound?
Okay.
You heard nothing.
I just heard your
Fine then. Sir, please play it again. We'll check it out. You will hear a beep sound. It's an irritating sound. Sir, enough, sir. Everyone was doing this. Everyone was like, the sound is so unpleasant. Got the concept? So all these sounds are the examples of noise pollution. The sounds which we do not enjoy. So such sounds, such unpleasant sounds in our surroundings are the examples of noise, and such sounds causes noise pollution. Clear with the concept? Rishikesh. Rishikesh has a query. Rishikesh, let me know.
Loudspeaker was so scared.
What happened?
Was so scared, loudspeaker.
Fine then. So Rishikesh is like, I was scared with the sound. I thought something wrong is there with my Zoom meeting application and all. Isn't it, Rishikesh? Isn't it? So Rishikesh is like, I was scared when I heard this sound. So these are the examples of noises. So such unpleasant sounds causes such noises causes noise pollution. So do you remember the definition? Everyone, try to recall the definition. The presence of excessive or unpleasant sounds in the environment is called noise pollution. So without looking at the book, who is going to answer me? Look at the camera and let me know the definition. Vinayak. What is noise pollution? Look at the camera.
The presence of excessive and
Unpleasant noise is called noise pollution.
Very good. So the presence of excessive sound or unpleasant sounds in the environment is called noise pollution. Got it? Clear with the concept? Right, then let's move ahead. Let's go ahead. So what are the harms of noise pollution? What are the harms? Let's check out the negative side. So I told you, right? So in the case of noise pollution, there are also a lot of harmful effect for our body as well. So let's check out the examples of it. So lack of sleep, hypertension and anxiety. So you heard the beep sound of loudspeaker, right? You heard the beep sound. So imagine if you are hearing the sound of that loudspeaker all day, from morning to evening. If you are hearing this beep sound, will it be good for your health or your ears? What do you think? It won't be good, right? So indirectly, it will cause you lack of sleep. You can't sleep properly overnight. It will disturb you. Lack of sleep will be there. Hypertension. Hypertension means you will have a high level of tension on the things which you do. For example, because of this unwanted sound, your mind will get disturbed and you will have a greater tension level when you do things. You'll be like, what is this happening? I'm not able to concentrate while I'm studying, isn't it? So such thing will have a greater level of tension, that is hypertension level will be there in your body. It will affect you. Then you will have anxiety issues. Oh, what is happening? Right now, as Rishikesh said, I scared when I heard the sound of this beeping sound of this loudspeaker. You will have anxiety issues, isn't it? So all these things are as a result of noise pollution. So these are the harms of noise pollution. Now note it down. Lack of sleep, hypertension, anxiety. These are the harms of noise pollution. Do write it down. Very important. Very, very important. Harms of noise pollution. Lack of sleep, hypertension, anxiety. There are a lot of other harms as well, right? Isn't it? There are a lot of other points, but still these 3 points are very important. That's why I took all these 3 points. A lot of other harmful effects as well. Now these 3 are important. Do write it down. Lack of sleep, hypertension and anxiety. So what are other examples? I told there are a lot of other harmful effects and all. So because of this noise pollution, there are chances of hearing impairment as well. Imagine if you are hearing to some loud sound continuously. Will it be good for your ear? No, right? You will have hearing impairment as well. We'll study about it. Don't worry. We'll learn about it. So measures to limit noise pollution. What are all the measures to limit noise pollution? What will we do to limit noise pollution? We'll check it out. So sir, okay, before we go, we'll note down the points. Before we play the animation, just note it down. Use silencing devices in aircraft engines, vehicles and home appliances. So in aircraft engines, to reduce the sound coming from it, we can keep some silencing devices as well. So in the case of bikes and all, you may have seen the silencer, right? If you are not aware, if anyone has seen it, there will be silencing devices and all, isn't it? So in home appliances also, you can install some silencing devices to control the noise coming out of it. And next point, all noisy operations must be conducted away from any residential area. If there is any particular residential area, the factories and all over there, should not be there nearby your house and all. Imagine if you have a factory just nearby your wall or just near your house, there will be a lot of unpleasant sounds coming up, right? Isn't it? You won't enjoy it, isn't it? So that should not be there. So all noisy operations must be conducted away from any residential area. That's why in a lot of cities and all, the factories, the industrial areas are all set up in a region away from residential areas, isn't it? So these are the measures to limit noise pollution. Use silencing devices in aircraft engines, vehicles, home appliances. First point. All noisy operations must be conducted away from any residential areas. We'll be coming up with more points, not just 2 points, we have more points. As of now, just write down these 2 points. Ready with it? Let's check out the animation of a factory, residential area and all. So please play the next animation. Yes. So these are industrial areas, factories and all is there. Can you see any residential area, people living over there? No, right? This is an industrial area. So now, can you see any factories over here? No, right? So these are the examples of residential areas. Just some houses and all is there. No factories and industries nearby. Got it? So, sir, please show an industrial area. When you forward and yeah. So see, this is an industrial area where factories and all is set up. So no houses and all is not there. People are not living over there. These are industrial areas. Got the comparison? Understood it? So all noisy operations should be set up away from residential areas. So these are the measures, so that we can limit the noise pollution. If sound is happening over there in the industrial area, people won't be living over there, right? So it won't be a disturbance, isn't it? If people are not living over there, if it's not a residential area, people are not bothered about it, isn't it? Got the concept? Fine then, let's check out what are the next mesh which we can do. So please remove the animation. The use of automobile horns should be minimized. So have you heard the high level of automobile horns and all, the honking sounds? So the honking sounds and all, the sounds of the horns should be minimized. You might have seen a symbol in roads, no honking symbol. Let's check it out. So this is the symbol of not honking. You should not honk over there. You should not produce the horn sound of the vehicle over there. So this is the sign of it. So the use of automobiles horns should be minimized. So when someone is over there in front of us, we'll be honking. Please give me some way, isn't it? So this should be reduced. We should not honk frequently. We should not produce the horn sound frequently. It will disturb, it will produce unpleasant sounds or unwanted noise, isn't it? So this sign, please be aware of it. This sign over there in your roads and all, if you see this sign, that particular area is prohibited from honking. You should not make horn sound over there in this particular area where this signboard is there. Please be aware of it. For your awareness, I just kept this sign. Clear with it? Fine then. Let's check out the next measure. TV and music systems should be run at low volumes. Imagine if you have one good music system at your home, and if you're keeping the volume high. Let's make Jingalala Jugaad over there in my house. Let's play some music and rock. You will be enjoying. What about your neighbors? They won't be enjoying, right? And if you play sound in high volume, high levels and all, it will disturb not just the humans, the animals living over there will also be disturbed, isn't it? So TV and music systems should be run at low volumes. I didn't say you don't have to play music in a party hall and all. In a party hall and all, it will be a place away from this residential area and all, or people won't be living nearby. So you can play music in high levels, but not beyond a limit. You should have a limit for it, isn't it? So TV and music systems should be run at low volumes. So this is another measure to limit noise pollution. Do write it down, very important. TV and music systems should be run at low volumes. So see, imagine if you're singing song like I sang in slow march, band troop example. Imagine if I'm singing it in a loud voice. You all will run from the session, right? You won't be sitting over there. I don't want to hear this unpleasant sound, isn't it? So you should not make unpleasant sounds by keeping the volumes of the TVs and music speakers. Not appreciated. Got it? So this is an example. TV and music systems should be run at low volumes. Trees must be planted along the roads and around buildings to cut down the sounds reaching the residents. This is an important point. So this is an important point. This is an important measure to limit noise pollution. Trees must be planted along the roads and around buildings to cut down the sounds reaching the residents. Do note it down, very important. Trees must be planted. Keep this in your mind. Try to plant as many trees as possible nearby your residential area. So what will happen if you plant a tree over there near your residential area? What will happen? So the sound will be traveling from one place to another, right? So if some noisy operations are happening nearby your residential area, these trees will make an obstruction in the path of these sound waves. Imagine one sound wave is coming from this side to this side. If a tree is over here, what will happen? It will obstruct the path of the sound, right? Isn't it? Suppose this is a tree. So imagine this is a tree, okay? So if someone is producing sound from here, this tree will cause an obstruction, right? So the sounds will not reach the residential area, or the sounds will not reach the other side, isn't it? So that's why you should plant more trees along the roads and around buildings to cut down the sounds reaching the residents. Residents means what? Us, the humans which we live. Residents means people who are residing in a house or a building, isn't it? So the trees must be planted along the roads and around buildings to cut down the sounds reaching the residents. Everyone note it down? Fine then. So please play the next animation. Let's check out what will happen if the trees are placed. See, if the trees are like this near your residential areas, if you have an industrial area nearby, or suppose some sound is coming from nearby, will these trees obstruct the sound? Isn't it? These trees will obstruct the path of the sound, as I've shown you an example, isn't it? The sound won't travel to the residents, won't travel inside the house and all. Got it? Got the concept? That's why I told this is an important measure to limit noise pollution. Trees must be planted in the residential area, around the buildings and all, or along the roadside, because from the road the unpleasant sounds or honking sound of the vehicles and the traffic and all will be there, isn't it? So as to cut down such sounds reaching the residents, trees should be planted along the roadside and around the buildings. This is an important measure. Everyone should be aware of it. Everyone clear with it? Fine then. Let's go ahead. So please remove the animation. So hearing impairment. So I discussed about lack of sleep, anxiety, hypertension. So all these 3 points I told, right? So all those three were the harmful effects of noise pollution. They were the harmful effects, isn't it? So hearing impairment will also be there. It will also happen if noise pollution, the levels of noise pollution is high. It will affect your ear as well, isn't it? So one more point, in this chapter we discussed all about sound, right? So there is a world for people who can't hear the voice or who can't hear the sound properly. So there will be people who are deaf, or those who can't hear the sound properly. There will be people, maybe in your friend circle itself you will have students with hearing impairment and all. So we should consider them. How will they hear? Isn't it? So first we'll learn about what is hearing impairment, and after that we will learn how will they hear the sound. Isn't it? So next, what is hearing impairment? Let's get to know what will happen. Hearing impairment means that a person has damaged hearing ability and cannot hear properly. That is hearing impairment. Do note it down. In your textbook it is just given as hearing impairment, but you should be aware of this. You should consider the people who has this hearing impairment. You should not be like, okay, you can't hear, you don't hear, that is fine. No, it should not be like that. You should have a great gesture. What you should be doing, you should be helping them so that they can understand what we are saying, or they can understand what is the sound produced, isn't it? So this is very important. What is hearing impairment? Hearing impairment means that a person has damaged hearing and hearing ability and cannot hear properly. Do note it down, very important, very important. So everyone be aware of what is hearing impairment. So once you're done writing, just let me know, how do they communicate? How will the people with hearing impairment communicate? What will they do? If the other person can't hear, we can't communicate like this, right? I can't say, hi brother, we should use something, right? How will they hear? Once you're done writing, answer me. Everyone has raised their hands. Abigail, Eric, Noreen, everyone has raised hands. Now Abigail is gonna answer me. How will they hear?
We can communicate to them by sign language.
Abigail is saying they can communicate by using sign language. Eric and Noreen, please unmute Noreen. How will they communicate? Or how do they communicate?
They'll use sign language.
They will use sign language. Rishikesh, Eric, what's your answer? Please unmute Rishikesh, Eric and all.
We can use date language.
Which language? Date language. What is date language, Rishikesh? I'm not aware of it. Rishikesh is gonna
Like subject language.
They will have a different subject language or date language. So this is a new concept. I didn't hear about the date language. So anyways, we will check about it. Now Eric, what's your answer? Hi Eric.
Hi sir. My answer is sign language only.
Sign language only. So how do they communicate? They can use hearing aids, isn't it? So those who can't hear anything, they can't use the hearing aids, right? But if they have some small impairment, they can use the hearing aids so that they can hear properly. So that is the one technique. So the next one, we have one more technique so that they can communicate. Now write this down. They can communicate using the hearing aids. If they can't hear anything, if they are completely deaf, or if they can't hear a single amount of sound, what will happen? They're differently able, right? We can't say, okay, fine, they can't hear. No, they are differently able. They have another technique. What is the technique? Let's learn about it. Everyone told, right? Sign language. That is their technique. Using the sign language, the people with hearing impairment communicates, isn't it? So let's check out the example of a sign language. So these are you may have seen, right? People with hearing impairment uses fingers and all. They will have some sign language. They will have some hand gestures and all, so that they will have a communication between them. Fine then. So let's check out an animation. Let's check out an example of it. So please play the animation. Let's check out the example of sign language. So please play it. Have you seen this in news channels and all? When the newsreader is explaining, someone will be there in the corner explaining with sign languages and sign language, with hand gestures and all. Isn't it? You might have seen it, right? So if you didn't check out the news channel till now, so make some time in between your leisure time to watch the news channel. So in international news channels and all, you might have seen in the corner of the news reader, there will be someone like this explaining what is the news or what is the information to convey using a sign language, so that the people with hearing impairment can also hear. So there is a world for people with hearing impairment. We should support them in our maximum possible way. We should help them, isn't it? We should consider them. We should not think like, okay, fine, they are differently able, they can't hear, let them stay away. No, you should have a thinking, or you should have an attitude to help them or consider them, so that we can convey what we are saying, or we can convey what is the sound produced, isn't it? So in between them to communicate, they use sign language. Those who have a little bit hearing impairment, they use hearing aids. Clear with all the concepts? Clear with it? You were able to hear that, you were able to see the animation, right? So you are able to understand all the concepts. So now, before going to the exam time, if anyone has any queries, do raise your hands or drop it down in the chat box. Or if you're clear with all the concepts, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. I hope everyone is ready. Our support tutor is ready with the link. Let's go ahead. So everyone, if the concept was clear, show me a thumbs up. I can say I saw some people were responding, isn't it? So all the concepts were clear, I guess. Fine, then let's move ahead to the exam time. Now look at the chat box. You will get a link. You will get the link of a Google form where you have to fill your responses. Once you're done submitting, once you have submitted, type done in the chat box. Let me know your responses. Fine then, I hope you got the link. Everyone got the link, right? Click on it, submit your responses. Our admin team is checking whether everyone is filling the responses, if everyone is answering it or not. We'll check it out. So we have covered the entire chapter. We'll have a revision of it. We'll be checking out, we'll be revising all the points which we learned in that chapter before moving on to the next chapter in the next session. Don't worry about it. Those who have missed the session, we'll have a quick recap in the next session. So now try to fill the form. Answer all the questions, okay? Answer all the 5 questions. Let me know. Once you're done filling the responses, type done. Type done in the chat box. So the first question was, unwanted or unpleasant sound is termed as music, noise, none of this. Think well and answer. The second question was, for human ears, the audible range is 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. True or false? 20 Hz, 20,000 Hz. So is it the audible range? State whether the statement is true or false. Loudness is determined by the dash of vibration. Amplitude of vibration, frequency of vibration, none of this. Loudness is determined by amplitude or frequency. Think well and answer. The next question is, shrillness of a sound is determined by the dash of vibration. Shrillness or pitch, you remember it, right? Shrillness is also pitch itself. So shrillness of a sound is determined by the frequency of vibration or amplitude of vibration. A or B, first or the second option. Think well. The last question, noise pollution causes lack of sleep or hypertension or anxiety or all of this. What do you think? Noise pollution causes lack of sleep, hypertension, anxiety or all of this. Think well and answer. So once you have submitted, let me know all the 5 questions. Type done in the chat box. Let's discuss the answers then. Type done in the chat box if you have submitted all the questions. If you have done the questions, if you have submitted your responses, let me know. Type done in the chat box. D-O-N-E, done in the chat box. I want everyone's response. Otherwise, I'm not gonna discuss the answers of the question. Everyone is responding, right? Everyone has done it? Fine then. Let's discuss the first question. Let's go ahead. Ready? Fine then. So the first question was, unwanted or unpleasant sound is termed as music, noise, none of this. Who is going to answer? Rishikesh. Unwanted or unpleasant sound is termed as Rishikesh.
Noise.
Noise. Very good. So the second option, noise, is the right answer. Everyone has learned it, I guess. Unwanted or unpleasant sound is termed as noise. So the second option was the right answer. So for human ears, the audible range is 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. I told 1000 Hz is 1 kilohertz, which means 20 Hz, 20 kilohertz. So for human ears, the audible range is 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. What do you think? Eric is gonna answer this time. Eric, is the statement True or false? What do you think?
True.
So Eric says that the statement is true. If Eric was right, everyone nod your head like this. If Eric was wrong, nod your head like this. Let me know remaining students' responses. So everyone is nodding their heads like this. So Eric was right. So the right answer is true. So the statement is true. For human ears, the audible range is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Keep this in your mind. Register it in your mind. The values, very important. Learned it. Let's go ahead. So the next question. Loudness is determined by the dash of vibration. Specifically, I told about loudness and pitch. I hope everyone remembers it. So the loudness is determined by the amplitude or frequency or none of this. Determined by dash of the vibration. Determined by which term? So Sanchita is gonna answer this time. Sanchita. Amplitude. Sanjita says that the answer is amplitude, so it is the right answer. So the first option is the right answer. Loudness is determined by the amplitude of vibration. So the amplitude determines the loudness, right? So let's check out the next question so you will have a better understanding. So the shrillness of a sound is determined by the dash of vibration. So loudness we knew, okay fine. So it is determined by the amplitude. So what about shrillness? Is it the same? Amplitude itself determines shrillness or frequency? Who is going to answer? Now we are going to ask Noreen.
Frequency.
So Noreen says that it is frequency. Let's ask Sania also. Sania, what do you think?
So it's frequency.
It's frequency. So the right answer is the second option. The shrillness of a sound is determined by the frequency of vibration. So the second option is the right answer. Now let's check out the last question. Noise pollution causes lack of sleep, hypertension, anxiety, all of this. Who is going to answer now? Vinayak is going to answer. Vinayak, what do you think? Which one of it? So Vinayak says that all of this. Noise pollution causes all of this. So these are all the harmful effects of noise pollution. Now let's ask who is there? Abigail. Abigail, what do you think? Noise pollution. All of this. So fine then. So the last option, all of this is the right answer. We have discussed lack of sleep, hypertension, anxiety, or all these are the harmful effects of noise pollution, isn't it? So the noise pollution causes lack of sleep, hypertension, anxiety. So all of this is the right answer. That is the fourth option. Fine then. Got it? Got all the question? Had a good understanding of it. Fine then. So that's all about the chapter sound. We'll be having a quick recap in the next session. Don't worry about it. So before we wind up, does anyone have any query over here? Do anyone have any query? Let me know if you have any queries. Rishikesh, what's your query?
I got 10 out of 10.
So Rishikesh is like, my query is I got 10 out of 10. Isn't it? So very good, Rishikesh. Great. Keep doing that. So Rishikesh was very active in the session. Very good. So he got 10 out of 10. So fine then. Everyone is ready? You understood all the concepts, right? No doubts? Fine then. I know the day is over, but still do revise all the points. Do revise all the points which we discussed in today's session. Okay, before you wind up, do revise all the points. I mean, after the session, even after the session, don't get off your table and run away. Just sit for 5-10 minutes and revise all the points which we discussed today. So I know the day is over, but still have a nice day. Keep learning with 90 Plus My Tuition app. That's all about today. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.